What are crypto stablecoins, and what does this tweet mean?
Yeah, just backing up for a second, like I think cryptocurrencies are probably one of the greatest inventions in human history. And the reason why they're interesting is because if you look at the technology industry, technology plays in unregulated spaces. It's very hard for technology to change regulated spaces, as Uber and Postmates and companies like that find out. But generally, the reason technology works is because it creates its own frontier. It is a digital frontier that is being created. Now, the physical frontiers are all closed and the new world has been colonized and the Wild West has been tamed. Where do you go to create new things free of interference and regulation and kind of exercise maximum creativity? And so that's been done mostly in the technology space. And one of the areas that has been protected by technological innovation is Wall Street, because they have regulatory capture, very bureaucratic. The money industrial complex that runs a lot of our economy and runs a lot of Washington D.C., where 20% of our GDP goes into financial engineering and into the Wall Street casino. And so cryptocurrencies are kind of how we get around that. And so they're sovereign resistant. They're designed to be completely decentralized. You don't need the violent power of the state to enforce the value of a cryptocurrency. And it allows for truly trustless transactions between humans without some king or authority or government or corporation having to be in the middle. And so it's very liberating to disconnect wealth creation, wealth storage, and wealth protection from the state. And that's what cryptocurrencies really enable.
1 second. Let me just pause to say that at one point, you and I did a very thorough cryptocurrency 101 conversation with a domain super expert named Nick Szabo, Szabo, which people can also find for more on kind of the history and basics of some of the crypto.
Yeah, Nick is a bona fide genius and a pioneer in the space. He also has a great blog called Unenumerated that I highly recommend. But anyway, so the best known cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is trying to be the new gold or the new Swiss bank account, kind of all rolled into one. And it has some advantages, as a store of value. It can be stored digitally, so it's hard to seize. It's very easy to verify, technologically speaking. Unlike gold, it's easy to send across national boundaries and electronically over the internet. It's easily divisible and verifiable down to its authenticity is very verifiable, where gold is hard to do. It can be divided down to millions and trillions of a Bitcoin very, very easily. It is somewhat programmable, so you can put it inside smart contracts and you can do some intelligent things with it. So it has a lot going for this store of value. What's difficult about it is it's not really private. It doesn't, although there are parts of it that are private, it's not completely private. And it's untrusted. It's brand new as far as stores of value go. It's only from 2009. And so people don't know if it'll be around forever and how dependent it is on the internet. And people aren't really certain about like the proof of work mining algorithm that makes it possible. And can it be hijacked? Can it be centralized? Can it have a bug? Can it break? And every year that Bitcoin survives and goes through one of the various challenges facing it, it gets more valuable as people entrust it a little bit more and more. But it is extremely volatile. You buy Bitcoin, you're buying a very speculative asset at the moment. And you're speculating that it will become digital gold or possibly even, all store of value, and so be incredibly valuable. But along the way, there's lots of hiccups. And at any point, it could break. It could go to zero. And so a lot of people who are now participating in the crypto world, they're building a decentralized Wall Street. They call it DeFi, DEFI, for decentralized finance. But I actually think it's more like DeFi as in just defy the government, DEFY. And so I think we're seeing,
governments love that.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing a whole new casino that's better than Wall Street spring up in decentralized finance. Unlike Wall Street, this one is 24/7 open. It's 365 days a year. It's available around the world to everybody. It's trustless in that it's, there's math and algorithms and code underneath that, not Goldman Sachs front running your trades or whatever. Not that I'm saying they do, but there's flash boys and kind of all that kind of craziness that goes on. And you can program it to do things and to make bets or hedges or calls that you just can't even do on Wall Street. So I think we're building a better Wall Street using cryptocurrencies. But everyone who participates in that doesn't necessarily want to take on the volatility of these cryptocurrencies. So we've created these things called stablecoins, which track the value of the US dollar, so that when you're trading, for example, you can still do it in dollar denominated terms. And this is a tricky thing, because the moment you're now trying to track some asset in the real world, like dollars, then you have to basically peg the value somehow to something that exists in the real world. And cryptocurrencies do best when everything is on the blockchain, when everything is electronic and digital and controlled by computers in the cloud. So these stable coins have come along that mimic the value of the US dollar. And the best known ones are Tether, USDC, which is Coinbase's coin, and MakerDAI, which is an algorithmically stable coin. But there's no free lunch in life.
Pause for 1 second. Well, should people think of what would be a comparable that people might be more familiar with? It's not an index. It's like an ETF, or how would you think about? Is there another?
These are digital dollars. These are designed so that you can live in crypto land. This is living on a blockchain. It's math-based code, but really your value is pegged to dollars. So it's not going up or down with Bitcoin. It's just worth $1 all the time. So if you want to hold $1 in crypto land, the way you do it is by buying one of these so-called stable coins. But all my tweet was observing is that there's no free lunch. What you're actually doing underneath is you have crypto, and crypto is incredibly volatile, and you're trying to convert a volatile asset into a stable asset. So there has to be a cost for that. What is that cost?
Well, it's like the subprime mortgage crisis.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. There's no free lunch. So what does that cost? And all I was saying is that the three main categories of stable coins today, they each impose one or more of these costs. And so one cause is fraud risk, where people suspect this of Tether, where like actually this thing says it's backed by dollars, but it's not actually backed by dollars. I don't know if this company has dollars underneath. So you have to kind of take their word for it. So now you're trusting.
Underneath, meaning they would have actual physical dollars,
Correct.
Much like you would have physical gold.
Correct. Yeah. So for every Tether they issue you, they claim to have $1 somewhere, but what if they don't? And you just don't know. So you're trusting them, and there could be fraud underneath. I'm not saying there is. I have no evidence, but that you're basically now back to the trusted third-party model that exists in just putting your money in the bank. The second kind is where you're dealing with someone like Coinbase or some company that is well known and trusted and is regulated, but then it's no different than holding normal dollars. There's censorship risk, where if the government says, hey, we don't like this character, seize their bank account, Coinbase can turn off your USDC account and your stablecoin has basically been seized. You're no longer decentralized and sovereign like you are with Bitcoin. And the last kind of risk is a blow-up risk. So something like a Maker, it's collateralized, but it's collateralized with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so what they're hoping is that the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum won't move so drastically that the peg breaks and you lose money on your so-called stablecoin. It's just an observation. There's no free lunch. And so if you're trying to create this mythical stable currency out of thin air in what is inherently a very volatile space, you have to pay for it. And people think today they're not paying for it. They're just getting these free crypto stable dollars, or they're getting the stability aspect for free, but they're not. They're either taking on fraud risk or censorship risk or blow up risk or some combination of them.